Seeing as how we're still entrenched in the lifeless void that is January and are yet to find out how any of this year's 20 Formula One cars look, let alone run, what better time to start rattling off some predictions, almost all of which are guaranteed to age like milk. What the heck, I thought it would be fun and provide some decent fodder for you lot to come and mock me come season's end. So, here we go. My 5 predictions for the forthcoming Formula One season. Well, we might as well get our veggies out of the way first. A bold prediction this is not, but who among us is really going to bet against the combined power of Max Verstappen and Red Bull? The former is well on his way to the rank of all-time great, while Red Bull itself is nothing short of metronomic. What's more, the RB19's development was allegedly halted as early as July or possibly August of last year, a timescale roughly comparable to that of the imperious Mercedes W11 from 2020. And unlike Mercedes, who was subsequently hindered by a minor aero rule change designed specifically to slow them down in 2021, Red Bull have got no such rule change coming their way. As a result, the men and women from Milton Keynes will, in all likelihood, be coming into 2024 with a superb car, the best pit crew in the business, and an absolute machine behind the wheel. Yeah, you can't really blame me or anyone for assuming that Max and Red Bull will be doing the double for the 3rd year in succession. This may be a strange one to focus on, but given their recent form, I can't help but think that Stake F1, God, I do not like that name, is not going to have the best of times in 2024. Last year's car was a letdown by anyone's standards, that qualifying performance in Hungary being the only meaningful highlight. Plus, the team was once again plagued by a weakness that has bogged them down ever since at least 2019, a chronic inability to sustain pace over a full season. Too often we have seen the Swiss-based outfit have a reasonable burst of pace at the start of a year, only to tail off as the season goes on. However, unlike the 2022 car, which could at its peak nab the odd top 5 finish and occasionally grace Q3, the 2023 Alpha was a lower midfield car at best. But what concerns me most about Stake isn't so much the team itself, but rather its immediate surroundings. Think about its closest rivals in the Constructors' Championship last year. AlphaTauri looks set to take on major components from last year's all-conquering Red Bull RB19, while Williams is in the safest hands possible with James Vowles. The Audi project may go on to pay dividends, but 2026 is still a while away. As far as its immediate future is concerned, I can't help but think that Stake F1 is in for a fairly hard time. They may have nabbed second place in last year's Constructors' Championship, but having failed to win a race for the first time since 2011, I highly doubt many at Brackley will be willing to consider 2023 a thundering success. And while I personally don't think Mercedes will be challenging Red Bull for either championship this year, I'd be very surprised if the Silver Arrows didn't claim at least one victory. Hamilton clearly has the wherewithal to fight to the front, while George, granted, has endured a scrappy season in 2023, but given his past form and reputation, I think he deserves the benefit of the doubt, at least for now. Add to the equation the most important variable, the fact that Toto Wolff has promised a ground-up reimagining for the W15, one that will no doubt scrap the notorious zero side pod concept, and I can't help but think that Mercedes might just make a much-needed step in the right direction in 2024. Well, it's got to happen at some point, hasn't it? Lando Norris now shares the record for most podiums without a Grand Prix. And with his status as a future world champion long since secure, now is a good time as any to break that infamous duck. Naturally, a major part of that will be down to the car. McLaren hasn't exactly been a model of consistency these last few years. Plus, that all-important wind tunnel will only be ready in time for the 2025 car. That said, there are now no new regulations to trip the team up, and given the extraordinary comeback they managed last year, surely nothing short of a major engineering blunder can peg McLaren back again. Oh, and by the way, don't for a second think I'm writing off Oscar Piastri. The man has been exceptional thus far and has of course claimed victory, albeit in a sprint format. It's just that, given Lando's experience within that team, I'm inclined to back him to claim that prospective win should things turn slightly attritional at any point this season, which I still think they will have to an extent, if McLaren is to secure win number 184. The last driver to have his future officially secured, Logan Sargeant was nevertheless one of 2023's weakest drivers. I applaud Williams for their patience, and I think the decision to keep him on for one more season is the right one. He was a rookie after all, but his stats make for very grim reading. A single inherited point at Austin compared to his teammates' 27, an average deficit of over half a second in qualifying, and numerous high-profile shunts like in Zandvoort and Suzuka do not bode well. He deserves another crack of it, that I'm sure, but should he fail to raise his game, I wouldn't be surprised to see Williams drop him. This is a team that's on the march, let's not forget. Their team principal is a highly accomplished figure within the sport, and Alex Albon is a bona fide superstar. But if they were to axe Sargeant, for whom might they drop him, you may ask? Call me crazy, but I'd vote Mick Schumacher. Yes, I know his time in F1 was less than stellar, and he would have been out of the sport for 2 years by the time 2025 comes around. But so too was Romain Grosjean before he secured that Lotus seat in 2012, following which he went on to claim 10 podiums. What's more, while I get Haas's decision to fire him, I also think Mick never really got a fair chance, given the nature of his rookie season, that abominable 2021 car, as well as the pretty hostile environment into which he was placed. Toto Wolff has voiced his intention to try and find a seat for the German at the earliest opportunity, and given his status as a Mercedes reserve driver, the Merc power unit in the back of that Williams, and James Vowell's history with the Silver Arrows, I think Mick Schumacher might have a chance at that seat should Sargeant continue on his current trajectory. Thank you all very much for watching. If you managed to stomach that okay, then why not consider maybe hitting the like button and subscribing? That aside, I will be back soon with more content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.